picture of the White House. Notice the fountain there. There's the viewer's drawing, and he gets the fountain in the correct position. I believe in his analytical overlay, the calm, majestic structure makes me feel controlled. I wonder why. But that's his description of the White House. And describes it as a vacation home for the rich. And the Pentagon, the subconscious never lies. This is the power of viewing. This is why they don't want you to know about this, because you can't lie with RV. It just gets right to the heart of it. Now, the interesting thing about this session is he was actually describing the wrong target. I had a picture of the Space Shuttle Challenger in one pile, and this was going to be the next target in the following hour, and it was in another pile. And it appears that he viewed the target that I had not assigned. They were both in front, but I had assigned this one. He had viewed the other one. It happens. The subconscious doesn't always do what we ask it to do, and that's fine. It's like a pet in some ways. I mean, it does run your life, so it's not quite like a pet, but it's doing everything, keeping your body going, respiratory systems. It runs your whole body, but you can ask it to show you things, but in some cases it's like it does what it wants. And that's the nature of the viewing process. In this case, he described another target, but it was perfectly accurate. He says here it's a sense of deliberations going on, power and control. He had all the elements of the White House in this post-session summary. Now here is a picture of, this is TWA Flight 800. We did this back at Farsight back in '96, several weeks after the disaster when Flight 800 was destroyed over Long Island Sound. What I got in my session was something coming up from the ground. I saw this flash of light and something hitting something in the sky. And there you can see kind of a line going up and hitting something in the sky. And I got a missile, okay? And I've talked to other viewers, some that were here last year, and apparently other viewers have gotten this sort of scenario too. This type of target we can't confirm as easily as a simple picture because we weren't there when it happened. We don't know. A lot of people at Farsight got a missile, and if you've read into any investigations of this, the missile theory was really shut down by the NTSC, B, and all the agencies that were investigating this did not want to investigate this aspect of it, so we never really found out about that, and we were told apparently what they wanted us to hear about it. But nonetheless, this session suggests that a missile was involved in taking down TWA Flight 800. We don't know whose missile it was. And here is a sense of explosions and all sorts of other information related to that event. Now this target is a verbal cue. This is the first official government announcement of the existence of extraterrestrials. This would be a future target, unless it already happened, and we don't know about it. But in theory, this is a target that would happen in the future, and we want to know what will the government announcement be like should it happen. Well, these targets are fun to do. We can't confirm them necessarily, but they're interesting to see what information we get. And this viewer got a sense of a performance, theatrical in nature, lighthearted, something being staged. This could be the black budget disclosure. I mean, this may not be the one we want, but it's educational material, a sense of something being presented to the public. And we're participating in things in a new way. So this is what we got for, it has something to do with our place in the universe. This is what we got for that target cue. The way we do this, by the way, we write the cue on a piece of paper, put it in a folder, and the viewer says, view the target. They're not told what it is, and at the end they find out what the verbal cue was. It's that easy to view things, by the way. And here's a little picture that they drew. Isn't that kind of nice? There's apparently people and little ETs and something. This is called a symbolic sketch, and then there's some apparently little information being disclosed there between us and our friends. Here, another viewer, it reflects a sense of glee, a feeling of history being made. Same target, by the way. First contact type of event. So if we are to believe this information, this government disclosure is going to happen at some point if these sessions are accurate. Something functioning as a sense of confirmation of different beings and so forth. So these are kind of experimental types of targets. Now this particular target was the evacuation of Dunkirk, Allied evacuation of Dunkirk during World War II, 1940. what I enjoyed looking at in this person's drawing was the drawing a Nazi swastika. No one's ever drawn that in any session I've ever seen anywhere, but he did do it for this particular target, and this is a target about Nazis and the Allies back in World War II, and there's two types of symbols, a Nazi symbol and another type of symbol, and a person in a wave like water. Now, it did turn out that his uncle was in the Allied evacuation of Dunkirk and was shot in the water, so he had a personal connection to this target, which I didn't know at the time. But nonetheless, he went on to describe two groups of beings that were once friends, as England was, Chamberlain and Hitler were originally friendly to each other. Two groups of beings, and now one group is oppressing the other and treating them just, like something to be oppressed and destroyed. Mere offal to be disposed of. So this is a type of historical target. Here's a picture of Area S4 at Area 51. We were given this target by someone who had claimed they were there once, and they said, can you see what's inside the hangars? Well, we gave it to our viewers and said, we have a target for you. That's all we said. A viewer in Utah was able to draw the hangars and apparently even the planes in front. Now, those I've been told by someone are Russian MiGs that are being tested there. But it looks to me an awful lot like hangars with planes in front. She did her own movement exercise. She went inside the structure, and what did she find? Flying discs. So this is proof that there are really reverse-engineered UFOs or something at Area 51. It does, a lot of people seem to get these discs inside these hangars. And again, it's just another use for RV. It's a lot of fun to do those types of targets after you've had training in the more basic types of targets. This was a target I did back in 1996. The target was the Gray's interdimensional wormhole near Earth. Apparently, someone at Farsight had this idea that the Greys were getting to Earth through a wormhole. I don't know if it's literally true or not, but this is what I drew. Some sort of, looks like a wormhole to me, and some ships going around. And again, it's just kind of a neat drawing, a solar system and little ships going around. Again, these targets are done blind, so the fact that you came up with anything that's even related to the target concept at all is amazing. Whether it's literally accurate or not, we don't know, but it's certainly interesting to see the close match between the target descriptor and the actual target site. The Mexico UFO in 1997. I've seen a lot of different presentations about this. I'm sure you have. Some people suggested it was a video hoax. Other people said, no, the thing came over me and this purple liquid squirted out and I felt sick for 6 months. There were apparently about 20 witnesses who actually saw it. But you know what network television can do to these things. But we gave it to our viewers. So this viewer just drew what looks like a circular object. He walked into the ship and was told, no snooping. Please leave. I didn't say anything to him. I said, do the target. And he said, I'm on the ship and I'm being told to leave. There's a robotic being there and I'm not welcome. I'm out of here. The next viewer saw this chair inside that ship. Well, it doesn't look like any chair I've ever seen. A space-age type of chair that envelops you. It almost suggests the feeling of this kind of tactile type of information we've gotten about how craft are flown. It's a complete integration with your nervous system. And she's kind of suggesting that in the way the chair envelops you completely. It's a space-age chair, and she started thinking about Courtney Brown all of a sudden. She said that I moved her inside the object and described, using her own words, she said it's a plastic bubble, and it reminds me of space. It's curved, and it's something that you can go inside of. And she described a mechanical intelligence inside that had a pointed head and so forth. Feeling of familiarity with being, but it's impersonal. Again, this is what she got for that object. Does it confirm that it was there or not? I don't know. Close feeling, edited out, could be UFO. Now, what she told me at the end is, when we're all done, she said, Simeon, I kept thinking this was a UFO, but I kept saying, no, it can't be a UFO. And we allowed the viewer at the end to use EO, edited out, whatever they were thinking but didn't say at the time, just to show them that they were on the right track. Edited out UFO. Okay, so now, does anyone have any really brief questions before we do the instruction? We're going to have you do the viewing now. Now, let me just describe, if there are any questions about this before we go on.